Jin stood at the big window of the Earth Embassy, his hands behind his back as he looked at the colorful space outside. The Galactic Council building was a huge ring made of shiny metal and crystal, floating in space with more than 300 different alien species inside. For 50 years, humans had joined this big space group, this so-called family of stars, and for 50 years, aliens treated humans like small children. Hana, his helper, came to him. "Ambassador Jin, they are ready for you," she said. Her voice was tight. Everyone who worked for humans knew what today meant. Jin nodded and fixed his blue uniform. "Then let us not keep them waiting." The council room was very big, a perfect circle with seats going up like a sports arena, and the middle was one small platform where people spoke to all the alien representatives. Jin walked to it slowly, feeling the eyes of hundreds of alien species watching him. The council leader, a tall alien with silver skin that reflected light, spoke. "First, Ambassador Jin of Earth, you asked for this emergency meeting. The council allows Earth to speak." Jin took a deep breath. "Honored representatives of the Galactic Council. For half a century, humans have stood with you as friends and partners, have given our technology, our resources, and even our blood to help defend this alliance." He stopped and looked around the room. "And for half a century, you have not given us equal voice, equal rights, or equal protection. Under council law." Whispers moved. Through the crowd, Jin kept talking, his voice growing stronger. 3 Earth colonies were attacked this past year. When we asked for help, you told us to wait. When we asked to build more defense ships beyond council limits, you said no. When the Karan trade group blocked our shipping paths, this council did nothing. The council leader moved uncomfortably. "Ambassador, these matters are complex. They are only complex because you make them." "So," Jin interrupted. "When the Lorian worlds had similar problems, the council sent a fleet in days. When the Panthari needed more military power, it was given right away." From her seat in the human section, Minji, Earth military officer, watched with strong pride. For too long they had played by rules that were unfair to them. "Therefore," Jin continued, "I am told by the United Earth government to inform this council that from this moment, Earth and all human colonies are leaving the Galactic Council effective immediately." The room exploded with noise. Dozens of representatives stood up, some shouting, others moving tentacles, wings, or body parts that humans still found hard to name, even after decades of meeting aliens. "This is unheard of," yelled the Dorn representative, his huge body rising above others. "You cannot simply leave," shouted another. The council leader raised a hand for quiet. When the noise stopped, he looked at Jin with a serious face. "Ambassador, maybe your government has acted too fast. The protections and benefits of council membership are much greater than any temporary problems." Jin smiled thinly. "Do they? Our scientists have been stopped from making certain technologies. Our military has been limited while our enemies grow stronger. Our trade has been controlled to help older council members. And when we face threats, we stand alone." He placed a small device on the platform, and it showed a blue glowing document in the dim room. "This is our official notice of leaving. Our embassy will close in 24 hours. All human representatives will return to Earth or our colony's council. Buildings on human worlds will have 1 week to leave." Sung, the human trade representative, watched from his seat as several council members talked together quickly. He knew what they were thinking. Humans were unpredictable. Yes, but surely they would not really leave. Surely this was just a trick to get better treatment. They did not understand humans at all, Ambassador. Jin said, the council leader, his voice now cold. "I urge you to think again about this foolish action. Without council protection, Earth will be in danger. There are forces in this galaxy that would see your kind enslaved or killed." Jin nodded seriously. "We know the dangers well. We also know that several of those forces are sitting in this very room, hiding behind friendly smiles." He stepped back from the platform. "We came to the stars hoping to find friends. Instead, we found politics, prejudice, and talking down to us. We will make our own way now." As Jin walked out of the room, Hana walked beside him. Behind them, the council burst into chaos. "Do you think they will try to stop us?" she asked quietly. Jin's face was serious. "They will try, but they have never really understood what humans can do when pushed too far. They are about to learn as Jin and Hana left the council chamber. Thousands of human representatives across the galaxy began packing their things, loading ships and sending messages to Earth. The great experiment of joining the galactic community had failed, but a new chapter was beginning on the human colony world. New Busan Director Pak received the news with a mix of fear and excitement. "We are on our own now," he told his staff. "All technology restrictions are lifted, all military production limits are cancelled. We build for our survival now." In orbit around Earth, fleet commanders met in an emergency session. They had just 40 ships that met Council standards, not nearly enough to defend human space. If the Council decided to force them back, Admiral Yoon addressed the worried officers. "The Council thinks we need them to survive. They think without their protection we are easy targets. What they forget is that humans thrived on Earth for thousands of years, facing challenges that would break most species. We adapt, we overcome, and we never surrender." On 50 human worlds and colonies, people watched screens as President Suk addressed the human race. "For too long, we have been treated as children in a room of adults," she said. "Today, we stand up. Today, we walk our own path. It will not be easy. The galaxy can be a dangerous place, but remember this. Before we met aliens, before we joined the Council, humans looked up at the endless stars and dreamed not of protection but of freedom, not of limits but of possibilities. We did not come this far to be held back by the fears of others." As the speech ended, cheers erupted across human space. From research labs where scientists could now explore ideas that had been forbidden to military bases, where new ship designs were already being drawn to ordinary homes, where families discussed the uncertain future with determination in their eyes. Humanity prepared for whatever would come next. On the Council station, Jin made final preparations to leave. "We have 6 hours before our transport departs," he told his staff. "The Council will try to change our minds. They may offer new terms, even real concessions. Will we accept?" Hana asked. Jin shook his head. "The time for that is past. They had 50 years to treat us as equals. They failed that test. Now we test ourselves." As human ships began leaving Council space, forming protective groups around transport vessels, a new sense of purpose filled human hearts. For the first time since meeting aliens, humans would chart their own course among the stars. The galaxy had indeed shuddered when humans walked away from the Council, but the tremors were just beginning. 3 months after Earth left the Galactic Council, the human colony world of New Busan was busy with activity. Space shipyards that once had Council rules limiting them now worked day and night building ships with technologies that were not allowed before. On the bridge of the new warship Defiance, Captain Tae looked at the latest reports. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Jun, stood beside him. "The Karen blockade has moved closer to the Epsilon trade route," Jun said, pointing to a group of red dots on the display. "They are cutting off our supply lines to the outer colonies." Tae nodded with a serious face. "They think because we left the Council we are alone and weak. It's time to show them they are wrong." The Defiance was something new and human. Space, a warship built without Council limits. Its hull was made with metals previously not allowed for humans. Its weapons used science that the Council had said was too dangerous for younger races to have. Commander Day reports the fleet is ready. Jun said 5 cruisers and 12 destroyers, all with the new shield technology. And the Council. Their watching post in the Gamma sector has been tracking our movements. They sent 3 messages demanding we stop building military ships. Tae smiled. And what did Earth Command say to that? The official answer was, "We respectfully decline to discuss internal security matters with external parties." On Earth, Defense Minister Jun sat in an underground command center watching as information came in from across human space. Next to her, President Suk studied the same information with deep focus. "The Karen expect us to beg the Council for help," Jun said. "They have never faced human military forces without Council limits. Or watching." Suk nodded. "And the new technologies, ready to use our scientists, have made more progress in 3 months than in the past 10 years. It turns out the Council was holding us back much more than we knew." The President's eyes narrowed. "They feared us, even as they patted us on the head and called us promising youngsters they feared what we might become. On the colony world of New Soul, scientist Yoon worked without rest in her lab. The quantum communication device on her table was technology that the Council had clearly forbidden humans to develop. Yet here it was working perfectly. Her coworker Ben entered the lab, excitement clear on his face. The test worked. Perfect communication across 12 light-years with no way for normal sensors to detect it. Yoon nodded, tired but happy. Send word to Fleet Command. The Karen won't know what hit them, back on the Defiance. Captain Tay gave the order. All ships move into jump position. Set course for the Epsilon trade route. The human fleet disappeared into jump space, coming out hours later directly behind the Karen blockade. The alien ships, sleek predatory craft with curves that looked almost alive, were completely surprised, open communications. Tay ordered. On the main screen, a Karen commander appeared. The aliens. Scaled face showed shock at seeing a human fleet where none should have been able to approach without being detected. This is Captain Tay of the Earth Fleet vessel. Defiance. You are illegally blocking human trade routes. You will move immediately, or we will fire on you. The Karen made a gesture of disrespect with its upper arms. Human vessels are not allowed in this sector without Council permission. You have no right to be here. We are no longer bound by Council rules. Tai replied calmly. You have 60 seconds to begin moving your vessels out of our trade route. You would not dare attack a Council member species, the Karen said, but there was doubt in its voice now. The consequences would be severe. Tai leaned forward. The consequences of testing humanity's resolve would be more severe. 50 seconds on New Busan Minister of Trade. Hyun watched the confrontation through the quantum communication link. Will they back down? He asked his advisors. The Karen have never faced direct military opposition, replied security expert Kwan. They have always relied on Council protection and political games, and if they don't back down, Kwan's expression was serious. Then the galaxy learns that humanity is no longer playing by Council rules aboard the Defiance. Tay watched as the countdown reached 30 seconds. The Karen vessels stayed in position. Target their engines, he ordered. Prepare to fire when I command. June passed the orders, and across the human fleet, advanced weapons systems came online. Systems that were just theory on Earth months ago. At 15 seconds, the Karen commander appeared on screen again. This is an outrage. We will report this to the Council immediately. We don't answer to the Council anymore. Tai replied. 10 seconds across. The galaxy and the now human-free Council chamber representatives argued loudly about the human problem. The Dorn delegate was especially angry. We should have never let them into the Council in the first place. They are aggressive, unpredictable. Council leader tried to keep order. We must approach this with diplomacy. If humans feel they were treated unfairly, he was interrupted by an urgent message. A young aide whispered in his ear, and his silver skin became visibly pale. Back at the blockade, with just 5 seconds left, the Karan vessels began to move. Slowly at first, then faster, they pulled away from the trade route. They are withdrawing, Captain June reported, unable to keep the satisfaction from his voice. Tay nodded. Stay in position until they have completely left the sector. Then escort our merchant ships through on Earth. President Suk received the news with quiet satisfaction. The first test is passed. The Karen blinked. Minister June's expression remained cautious. This is just the beginning. The Council won't stand by while we assert ourselves. No, Suk agreed. But neither will they find us easy to control anymore. The time of humanity playing the obedient junior partner is over. News of the Karen retreat spread quickly through human space. For decades, humans had been told they needed Council protection, that without it they would fall victim to stronger, more established species. Now they had stood up to one of those species, and won. On the colony of New Jeju, children watched the celebration as merchant ships finally arrived with needed supplies. Parents explained that humans were now making their own path in the stars. Not everyone welcomed the change. Some feared what might come next, while others celebrated freedom. From Council rules in his private office on Earth, Jin now Senior advisor to the president reviewed reports from across human systems. Council observation posts were increasing along human borders. Some council species were canceling trade agreements, while a few were secretly offering new deals without council approval. We've stirred up the galaxy, Jin told Hana. 3 council members have already contacted us about following Earth's example. The cracks in their system are spreading. Will it lead to war? Hana asked. The Dorn Empire has always wanted an excuse to use their military against us. Jin looked thoughtful. Perhaps. But remember what the Council has forgotten. Humans thrived on a world where we were never the strongest, never the fastest, never had the sharpest claws. We survived through intelligence, adaptability, and an ability to work together against common threats. Those skills serve us well now. Aboard the Defiance as it escorted merchant ships through the now open trade route, Captain Tay received a message from Earth Command. Operation Aurora is approved, it read. Proceed to coordinates for special equipment installation. Tay showed the message to June, who smiled widely. So the rumors are true. Earth has developed it. The captain nodded. Just imagine. A few months ago we were bound by 1,000 restrictions, told what we could build, what we could research, what we could even think about. Now we show the galaxy what humans are truly capable of. June finished throughout. Human space, a sense of possibility was growing. Scientists shared ideas that had been forbidden before military planners developed strategies that didn't follow the patterns council species had used for thousands of years. And on 50 worlds, humans looked to the stars not with fear but with a growing confidence. The galaxy had indeed shuddered when humans walked away from the council. But as Captain Tay had said to his crew when they first faced down the Karen, they haven't seen anything yet. 6 months after the Karen incident, the Galactic Council called an emergency closed meeting. Without humans present, the Council discussed the growing human problem. The situation has become impossible, declared the Volek representative, a being made, mostly of shining gas inside a special suit. Human military activity has grown by 300%. They have made technologies that were clearly forbidden. The council leader nodded seriously. Our intelligence says they have made quantum communications, advanced AI systems without the required safety measures, and weapons that break at least 7 council rules. Rules they no longer follow, pointed out the representative from Nara, one of the few council members that still had good relations with Earth on the human colony world of New Jeju Fleet. Admiral Min stood before a display showing the positions of council watching posts near human space. Intelligence Officer Do gave her report. They have increased watching along all our borders, Council. Special operations teams have tried to enter research facilities on 3 colony worlds. Min's expression hardened. Casualties. None on our side. The new security systems worked better than expected. We have caught 12 infiltrators, and what have we learned from them? Do showed a new display with interrogation data. The Council is very worried about Project Aurora. They don't know exactly what it is, but they know it represents a big advancement. Min nodded slowly. Then our security protocols are working deep beneath the surface of Earth's moon in a facility that officially did not exist. Scientist Yoon supervised the final building of the Aurora prototype. The device, no bigger than a small car, was the result of research that would have been impossible under Council rules. Power systems check complete, reported technician Ho. Quantum field is stable. We are ready for the final test. Yoon took a deep breath. Activate the field. A soft humming sound filled the room as the device powered up. For a moment nothing seemed to happen. Then gradually the device began to shimmer and fade from view. Complete sensor invisibility achieved. Ho announced, reading from his instruments. No energy signature, no mass detection, no gravity footprint. The implications were huge. A true invisibility system that worked on all detection frequencies. The Council had always said such technology was impossible. Human scientists had proven otherwise. On Earth, a different kind of meeting was taking place in a secure room. In Seoul, President Suk faced the Naran ambassador, one of the few alien diplomats still on Earth. My government wishes to express concern about recent developments, the Naran said. Its body vaguely human-like, but with crystal parts, reflected the room's light and rainbow patterns. The Council fears humanity is developing weapons of mass destruction. Suk's expression stayed neutral. What humanity develops in its own territory is not the Council's concern anymore. With respect, President Suk, weapons that could destabilize entire regions of space are everyone's concern, like the planet killer technology that the Dorn Empire was allowed to develop 3 years ago. The same technology that the Council denied us access to when the Charon threatened our colonies. The Naran moved uncomfortably. That situation was complex. It always is when humanity's security is at stake. Suk replied coldly, "Tell your council that we have no aggressive intentions toward peaceful species, but we will never again allow ourselves to be vulnerable in orbit around Jupiter." The newly established Advanced Defense Academy was training the first generation of officers for Earth's post-council. Military Commander 1 led a class of cadets through tactical exercises. The Council. Species have fought wars a certain way for thousands of years, he explained as holographic ships moved around them. They follow patterns, traditions, and rules that are older than humanity's. First steps into space. Cadet. Gil raised her hand. But sir, wouldn't those traditions have evolved for good reasons? Trial and error over thousands of years. One smiled. An excellent point. But consider this. Those traditions evolved among species with similar psychological profiles. Humans think differently. We are unpredictable in ways that most council species find deeply unsettling. He activated a new simulation showing historical battles from human history. Where council species see chaos in our tactics, we see opportunity. Where they value predictability, we embrace adaptation. This is our advantage. On New Busan, Captain Tai's Defiance had returned for upgrades. As he walked through the shipyard with June, his second-in-command, June pointed out the new installations, Aurora-class stealth systems enhanced, quantum drives, and the new defensive grid. She will be twice as capable when they finish. Tai nodded with satisfaction, and the rest of the fleet, 15 new vessels completed in the past month alone. Production is speeding up now that we have fully automated the orbital factories. In the council chamber, the debate grew heated. The humans must be contained before they destabilize the entire sector, insisted the Dorn representative. The Naran disagreed. Aggressive action would only confirm their suspicions about council intentions. Then what do you suggest, demanded another delegate. That we watch while they build weapons that could threaten us all. The council leader raised his hands for quiet. We have maintained peace in this galaxy for 10,000 years. We will not allow one young impulsive species to endanger that peace. Back on Earth's moon project. Aurora entered its final phase. Yoon and her team gathered to witness the end result of their work. All systems are green, Ho reported. Test platform is ready for translocation. Yoon gave the command, activate. The Aurora device hummed louder. A field of shimmering energy expanded outward, covering the test platform, and then both vanished completely. For 30 seconds the room was silent, except for the steady beeping of monitoring equipment. Then suddenly the platform reappeared exactly where it had been, but now carrying sensors that showed it had traveled 5 light-years instantly, completely undetected by any known monitoring system. Yoon closed her eyes briefly, understanding the importance of what they had achieved. Instant, undetectable transportation across vast distances. The strategic implications were enormous. Inform Admiral Min, she said quietly. Aurora is operational. Her office on New Jeju. Admiral Min received the news with solemn recognition of its importance. She immediately contacted President Suk via secure quantum channel. Aurora is successful, she reported simply. Suk nodded. Then we are ready for the next phase. The Council has made its decision. Their fleet movements confirm it. They intend to contain us by force if necessary. And our response exactly as planned, Suk replied. They expect us to be predictable victims. It's time to show them how humans respond to threats as Project. Aurora moved from testing to deployment. Human scientists, engineers, and military personnel worked day and night, installing the new technology on key ships, training crews in its use, and developing tactics that would make the best use of this revolutionary capability. On the Defiance, Captain Tai addressed his crew as the final Aurora components were installed. The Council thinks they know what humans are capable of, he told them. They have studied our history, our technology, our tactics, but they have always seen us through the lens of their own experience. They cannot imagine what we might become when freed from their restrictions. The Aurora field generator on board the Defiance was the third to be installed. After 2 test ships, the technology allowed the vessel to vanish from all forms of detection, including visual sensors, mass detectors, and gravitational arrays. More importantly, it allowed instantaneous travel across vast distances without using normal jump space gates that could be monitored or blocked. On Earth, Jin, now heading the Strategic Response Division, prepared for the inevitable Council action. "We have reports of fleet movements in 6 sectors," he told President Suk. "They are gathering their forces. How long do we have? 2 weeks, perhaps 3. They are still debating their approach. Some want to simply blockade us. Others push for a direct military solution, and our allies. The Naran remain officially neutral, but continue to share intelligence. 3 minor council species have indicated they might follow our example if we successfully resist council pressure." Suk nodded thoughtfully. "The next few weeks will determine the future not just of humanity, but potentially of the entire galactic." Order on New Sol scientist Yoon watched as production facilities worked at full capacity, building Aurora systems for the fleet. There had never been anything like this in human history, not the Manhattan Project, not the Mars colonization, not even the first faster-than-light drive. The revolution in technology they had achieved in mere months freed from council restrictions was beyond what anyone had imagined possible. "This could lead to a golden age for our species," her colleague Ben commented, "or it could lead to war." "I think it may lead to both," Yoon replied. "The Council will not easily accept the new balance of power, but if we survive their response, perhaps we can build something better than they ever allowed." Throughout human space preparations, continued citizens trained in emergency response military units ran constant drills, and in orbit around Earth the first fully Aurora-equipped battle group assembled. Invisible to all Council monitoring stations, it represented humanity's hidden strength, the technological leap that would soon shock the galaxy. The ancient powers of the Council believed they knew the limits of what was possible. They had defined those limits for 10,000 years. Now humanity was about to show them how wrong they were. 2 years after Operation Phantom, the Galactic Diplomatic Forum met in Earth's orbit. Unlike the old Council with its ancient species at the top and newer ones at the bottom, the Forum was built as a true meeting of equals. Ambassador Jin, now Earth's chief diplomat, looked out at the gathering of representatives from across the galaxy. Many were former Council members who had followed Earth's lead and declared independence. Others were species that had never been allowed Council membership because they were too young or culturally different. "This is more than I ever imagined possible," Jin confided to Hana, who had remained his trusted aide. "You started something bigger than just Earth's independence," she replied. "You gave voice to centuries of frustration." The Forum chamber was designed as a perfect circle with no raised platforms or special positions. In the center stood a holographic display showing the galaxy with each represented world. Highlighted President Suk opened the meeting with a short speech. "We gather today not as rulers and subjects, not as ancient and young, but as equals with a shared interest in peace and progress. Earth did not leave the Council to stand alone, but to stand freely and to help others do the same." The Naran representative spoke next as one of the first Council species to recognize Earth's fair complaints. Nara had played an important role in the change. For 10,000 years, the Council kept a peace built on hierarchy and restriction. That time is over. Together, we build a new path based on mutual respect and shared knowledge. Not all former Council members had joined the Forum. The Dorn Empire and several of their closest allies had withdrawn into their territories, building defenses and making threats. But their isolation grew with each world that joined the new alliance. On New Busan, now a thriving center of interspecies trade, Admiral Tay watched alien visitors freely exploring human markets. Technologies that had once been restricted were now openly traded and improved through working together. "Did you ever think you'd see Volek scientists working with human engineers?" asked June, who had remained his loyal second-in-command. Tay shook his head. 2 years ago, they wouldn't even share basic gravity theory with us. Now they are helping design the next generation of jump drives beyond the diplomatic and business successes. Humanity's greatest achievement had been in changing how species interacted with one another. The Aurora technology, which could have been kept as a military advantage, had instead been shared with Forum members for peaceful uses. On Earth's moon, scientist Yoon led a mixed-species research team developing medical applications for Aurora's quantum field technology. Instant transport of emergency medical supplies has reduced deaths by 60% on frontier worlds, she explained to a visiting group. What began as a defense technology now saves lives across the galaxy. Not everyone had supported sharing such advantages. Defense Minister June had argued strongly for keeping Earth's technological edge. We don't know when the Dorn or others might decide to test us again, she had warned in private meetings. President Suk had acknowledged the risk but stood firm. We left the council because they hoarded knowledge and power. We won't become what we opposed. In the forum chamber, discussions continued about creating unified response plans for natural disasters, shared scientific research and fair trade practices. Most importantly, a proposal was being debated to establish the first truly integrated multi-species defense fleet. Admiral Min presented Earth's view. The old council maintained peace through restriction and control. The forum must defend peace through cooperation and openness. The Karen representative, once Earth's bitter opponent, now spoke in support. My species has discovered that true security comes not from domination, but from mutual protection. The proposed defense fleet has our full support. By the end of the forum's first full session, 27 major initiatives had been approved. A new galactic order was taking shape, one built on principles that humans had championed from their earliest days in space. On the final evening, a celebration was held in orbit above Earth. Ships from dozens of species lit up the night sky with synchronized light displays. Aboard the diplomatic station, Jin found himself standing next to the former council leader, who had come as an observer. I must confess, the silver-skinned Ranthian said quietly. When you walked out of the council chamber 2 years ago, I believed you were dooming your species to isolation and eventual defeat. Jin smiled. Many on Earth feared the same. Instead, you've transformed the galaxy. The former leader looked out at the ships moving in complex patterns. Some of my colleagues still cannot accept this new reality. They believe the old order will somehow return. And you, I have lived long enough to recognize when history has turned completely. The council's time has passed. What humans began cannot be undone, as the celebration continued. President Suk addressed the gathered diplomats from a platform overlooking Earth. 2 years ago, humanity walked away from a system that did not serve us. Many believed we would come crawling back when we discovered how harsh the galaxy could be to those who stand alone. She gestured to the gathered representatives. But we never intended to stand alone. We believed that other voices were also being silenced, that other species also struggled under unfair restrictions. We believed that there was a better way for intelligent beings to interact than through hierarchy and control. The lights of the ships above formed a shimmering canopy across the sky. Look at what we have built together in just 2 years. Imagine what we will achieve in 10 and 50 and 1,000. The galaxy shuddered when humans walked away from the council. Not from fear of what we might destroy, but from the dawning realization of what we might create on New Jeju. Admiral Min watched the broadcast with her staff. Poetic, she commented with a small smile. But there is still much work to be done. Her aide nodded. The Dorn are increasing military production. 3 non-aligned worlds reported border problems last month, and we'll face those challenges together with our allies. Min replied confidently. The galaxy is changing, and those who cannot adapt will find themselves increasingly alone. On Earth, in the rebuilt city of Seoul, children gathered in a public square to watch alien visitors demonstrate art forms from a dozen worlds. Among them stood a young boy named Sun, who looked up at the stars with wonder. Will I get to visit other planets someday? He asked his father. Of course, the man replied. The galaxy is open to us now in ways it never was before. Your generation will go further than we ever dreamed possible. As night fell across Earth, humanity continued its work building ships, forming alliances, developing technologies, and transforming the galactic order. They had walked away from the Council not as an end, but as a beginning. The first steps toward a future where no species would be held back by the fears or prejudices of others. 6 months after the Forum began, a curious event took place. On a distant world far from both human space and former Council territories, a young species made their first faster-than-light jump. Their exploratory vessel emerging into a new star system was greeted not by the Council, inspectors who would have once judged their worthiness, but by a Forum-welcoming ship with representatives from 12 species, including humans. "We have been monitoring your progress," Commander Day told the surprised explorers. "We are here to welcome you to the galactic community as equals." The explorers, bewildered by the multi-species greeting, sent back a cautious message. "We expected to find the Galactic Council. Our researchers intercepted transmissions about them for decades. That system no longer exists," Day explained. "A new order has replaced it. One where your voice will be heard from the beginning. One where your unique perspective will be valued." "And who changed the system that had lasted for 10,000 years?" asked the explorers. "Began when humans walked away from the Council," Day replied. "But it continues because many species have chosen a different path. The Forum is not perfect, but it grows stronger. Each cycle as more worlds join and more ideas are shared. Across the galaxy, the ripples of humanity's decision continued to spread. On 100 worlds, young species developed without artificial restrictions. On former Council worlds, citizens enjoyed new freedoms and opportunities. And on Earth, humans looked to the stars, no longer as petitioners seeking admission to an ancient order, but as architects of a new and better galaxy. In the Earth Embassy, now rebuilt as the Forum Earth Headquarters ambassador, Jin watched ships from 50 species come and go. The irony was not lost on him that by walking away, humans had created something far greater than they could have. As obedient members of the Council, "Endings and beginnings," Hana observed following his gaze. Jin nodded. 2 years ago, we thought we were closing a door. Now I see we were opening one instead. One that had been locked for 10,000 years. The galaxy had indeed shuddered when humans walked away from the Council. But from that moment of disruption, a new age had dawned. Perhaps in 10,000. More years, historians would look back and mark that day as the true beginning of galactic civilization. 1 year after humanity left the Galactic Council, the Council finally acted. A combined fleet of over 200 vessels from 6 different Council species took positions along the borders of human space. The message was clear: submit to Council authority or face the consequences. On the Council flagship, Eternal Justice Grand Commander Vex of the Dorn Empire looked at the tactical display with satisfaction. As the most warlike of the Council species, the Dorn had pushed hard for this show of force. The humans have no choice but to give in. He told the Council representatives who had come to watch humanity's surrender. "Our fleet is stronger than theirs in every way, in Earth's combined military headquarters deep beneath the Pacific Ocean." President Suk and her war cabinet received reports of the Council fleet's movements. "They have set up blockades at all major jump points leading to human space," reported Admiral Min. "Their message states that all human military vessels must stop and submit to Council inspection, and Earth must accept Council observers to monitor compliance with technology restrictions." Defense Minister Jun laughed in disbelief. "They still think they are dealing with the obedient junior partners who joined the Council 50 years ago. Their intelligence is outdated," agreed Suk. "How long until our forces are in position? Aurora-equipped vessels are already deployed," Min replied. "The rest of the fleet is at combat readiness. On the colony world of New Busan, now a major military hub, Captain Tay received his orders. The Defiance and its battle group had been equipped with Aurora technology, making them invisible to Council sensors. All ships maintain stealth protocols, he ordered. Move into position Alpha and await the signal." Throughout human space, similar scenes played out. Vessels disappeared from normal detection, moving silently into predetermined positions around the Council fleet. Meanwhile, on the diplomatic front, a final effort at peace was made. Wu, Earth's newly appointed ambassador-at-large, sent a message to the Council fleet. This is Ambassador Wu of Earth. I am authorized to speak with Council representatives regarding the current situation. We wish to avoid unnecessary conflict aboard. The Eternal Justice, the Council representatives debated whether to accept the communication. It's a delay tactic, insisted the Dorn commander. They seek to buy time. Nevertheless, diplomacy must be attempted, replied the Naran representative. Eventually, a secure channel was established, and Ambassador Wu's hologram appeared before the Council delegation. Ambassador began the Council. Leader, the Galactic Council cannot permit the uncontrolled development of technologies that threaten galactic stability. Earth must return to Council oversight. Wu's expression remained composed. With respect, Earth and its colonies are sovereign territory. The Council has no authority here. We have maintained peace for 10,000 years. The Council leader replied sternly. One species cannot be allowed to endanger that peace. Wu's voice took on an edge. When 3 human colonies were attacked, you called it border disputes and did nothing. When the Karen blockaded our worlds, you called it trade regulation. Your peace has always been selective. The Council fleet is here to ensure compliance, stated the Dorn commander flatly. Submit or face the consequences. Wu sighed. I am instructed to inform you that Earth will not surrender its sovereignty. We request that you withdraw your fleet from human space within 6 hours. The Council representatives exchanged looks of disbelief. You are in no position to make demands. The Dorn commander nearly shouted. Your fleet is outnumbered and outclassed, is it? Wu asked. Simply, I suggest you check your sensors more carefully. The transmission ended, leaving the Council representatives confused. The Dorn commander immediately ordered a full sensor sweep of the surrounding space. The results showed nothing unusual, no hidden human fleet, no unexpected energy signatures, empty threats, he declared dismissively. In the Earth Command Center, the 6-hour countdown began. They won't withdraw. June stated what everyone already knew. No agreed. Sook, their pride, won't allow it. Especially the Dornan when the deadline expires. Operation Phantom commences, Sook replied. No deadly force unless absolutely necessary. We want to demonstrate capability, not start a war on New Jeju. Admiral Min dispatched final orders to all Aurora-equipped vessels. Remember, this is a demonstration, not an engagement. The goal is to shock, not destroy. As the deadline approached, tension mounted throughout human space. On the Defiance, Captain Tay addressed his crew. Today we show the Council that humanity will never again be treated as a lesser species. Our restraint will demonstrate our strength more powerfully than any weapon could. The 6 hours passed quickly. On the Eternal Justice, the Council representatives watched the deadline expire with a mixture of anticipation and disrespect. The humans bluffed, declared the Dorn commander, prepared to advance into their territory. At that exact moment, alarms blared throughout the Council fleet. On the Eternal Justice's bridge, officers shouted in confusion as system after system began to fail. Weapons offline, propulsion. Failing communications jammed. Suddenly, the holographic projectors activated independently, and Ambassador Wu appeared on every Council vessel at the same time. As you can see, she said, calmly, your fleet is now completely disabled. Human vessels are currently positioned throughout your formation, though your sensors cannot detect them. As if to show her point, dozens of human warships suddenly appeared, as if materializing from nowhere. They had penetrated the entire Council formation undetected, positioning themselves at strategic points where their sudden appearance caused maximum shock. This is impossible, exclaimed the Dorn commander. No technology can bypass our detection systems, so completely clearly that assessment is incorrect. Wu replied, we could have destroyed your entire fleet without you ever knowing we were here. Instead, we have temporarily disabled your systems as a demonstration of our capabilities and our restraint in the Defiance. Tay watched as the Council vessels drifted helplessly. All ships maintained position, continued jamming their communications. At Earth Command, President Sook addressed her cabinet. Now we wait to see if they understand the message. After 1 hour of complete helplessness, the Council fleet systems suddenly came back online. The human vessels remained visible, surrounding them in a display of technological superiority that shattered thousands of years of Council doctrine. Ambassador Wu's hologram appeared once more before the council representatives. Earth proposes new terms for peaceful coexistence. She stated, "We have transmitted them to your vessels. We await your response." As the hologram faded, the human ships vanished again seemingly, blinking out of existence, a final reminder of the new reality. The council faced. The council leader looked at the terms displayed before him, then at the faces of his stunned colleagues. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Galactic Council would have to negotiate as equals or perhaps even as the weaker party. The galaxy, he said quietly, has indeed changed forever. Aboard the Defiance, Captain Tay and his crew maintained their positions still invisible to council sensors. "That went well," Lieutenant June commented. The look on the Dorn commander's face when we appeared was worth waiting for. Tay nodded, but his expression remained serious. "This is just the beginning. The council has ruled for 10,000 years. They won't accept a new reality easily. What do you think they will do? They will stall for time, pretend to negotiate while they try to discover how our technology works. And when that fails, some will push for more direct action on Earth." President Suk reviewed the ongoing situation. "The council fleet remains in position," she observed. "They haven't withdrawn. They are in shock," Minister Jun replied. "Their entire worldview has been shattered. In a single hour we demonstrated technology they believed impossible. We showed. We could have destroyed their entire fleet. We made them completely helpless." Admiral Min reports that communications between council vessels show arguments, eruptions of blame and fear. "That's to be expected," Suk said. "The question is what happens. Next, our terms are reasonable. We ask for recognition of our sovereignty, guarantees against military action and open trade. The reasonable members of the council should see this as the best possible outcome." But the Dorn and their allies, Jun reminded her, they believe in power, not reason. Then we must ensure our power remains overwhelming until reason prevails. Throughout human space, news of Operation Phantom's success spread. Citizens who had feared council retaliation celebrated the bloodless victory. Scientists who had worked on Project Aurora felt vindication for their revolutionary theories. And military personnel who had trained for months for this moment felt pride in humanity's achievement. On the colony world of New Soul, children gathered in public squares to watch broadcasts of the human ships appearing and disappearing around the helpless council fleet. For them, it was like magic, a demonstration that humans could do what the council had always said was impossible. Scientist Shun watched the celebrations with mixed emotions. "We have changed the galaxy," she told her colleague. "Bin Boot, change brings uncertainty. The council will adapt eventually. They have survived for millennia." Yes, Bin agreed, but never before have they faced a species that could so completely upend their technological advantages. They were the masters of the galaxy because they controlled access to advanced technology. Now we have surpassed them in at least one critical area. What do you think happens? Next, either a new age of cooperation based on mutual respect, Yoon said, or a desperate attempt to restore the old order. Bin finished. Across the stars the news traveled, the mighty counts.